Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, operations at Ghana's major ports and harbors likely to grind to a halt as freight forwarders and trade unions begin a protest against shipping lines over unfair practices. We have details coming up. Also coming up, staff of Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, in the Upper East region joined strong opposition to a proposed draft bill that aims to merge NEDCO with the Electricity Company of Ghana.
There is a measure laid before Parliament, and in consultation with our stakeholders, we think that it is not going to help the crisis in the energy sector.
Also coming up, calls for support for farmers affected by a recent drought in the northern belt of the country continue to heighten as players in the agri value chain bemoan the loss to smallholder farmers.
Upper West now is one of the biggest suppliers of maize in the country, and some of the farms were affected, and we are going to really have a problem in terms of the supply chain.
And that's it for the headlines. Details coming up. Stay with us. Well, first up this afternoon, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders and allied trade bodies are taking a stand against what they describe as unfair practices by shipping lines. The protest is fueled by a number of grievances, including what they say is exploitative pricing by shipping lines, arbitrary fees, and the imposition of demurrage charges even on weekends and public holidays. They're calling on the Ministry of Transport to intervene to ensure fair trade practices at the ports. Johnny Mante is Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. He joins me on Zoom to discuss this. Good afternoon to you. Talk to us a bit more about your grievances.
Hi. Our grievances are simple. We have said that for only God knows how long now, since LI 2190 was enacted, that is around 2012, the shipping lines have continued to undermine that provision and have consistently charged arbitrary fees in our ports. We have, we try to speak with the Shippers Authority. We've spoken to the shipping lines themselves, named them. We've done all we have to do, and we have seen no end to this. So we believe this is the only language they understand. And not just us, the traders themselves and manufacturers, everybody is kind of tired about this situation. So the whole idea is that we are demonstrating against the arbitrary and exorbitant fees imposed by the shipping lines that have direct effects on our economy. These things are, of course, their actions are driving costs in terms of goods and raw materials. So essentially, that's our position.
Yeah, you talk about exploitative pricing, arbitrary fees. How is that impacting on your operations? I mean, you started talking about that, but how effectively are your operations being hampered by these charges and the economy as well?
Okay, thank you. The point is that in terms of high prices, you and I will definitely pick up these costs from the market, where shipping lines consistently charge fees that are arbitrary. For instance, you talk about administrative charges. Today is a holiday. The shipping lines will still be charging you for services that they have not rendered to anybody. So we are saying that where you don't offer services to anybody, why do you charge the person? You don't charge the person just even in cedis. These charges are levied in US dollars. Don't forget, you've heard about people abandoning their cargo. It is all because of the actions of these shipping lines. You pay your freight at your point of origin, you get to Tema Port, and there are charges that are being levied to you for no work done by these shipping lines, that they yet they continue to collect these fees. Don't forget about the high prices for consumers, because as long as they continue to charge fees in US dollars, you and I will continue to pick these things from the market. The trader is not going to bear that brunt of that charge that has been levied on him, that is arbitrary. They pick charges anyhow. They don't go to the Shippers Authority to negotiate their charges as per LI 2190. We think that these things have gone on for far too long since the enactment of LI 2190 in 2012. They have never for once gone to the Shippers Authority to negotiate these charges. We think that it's about time, and on Tuesday we are calling on all the traders. Everybody is coming, and we are going to let these things very well known to the general public.
Yeah, have you engaged the government? I know you're asking the Transport Ministry to do a few things. What exactly do you want them to do, and what has the engagement been like?
Thank you. We have engaged the Transport Minister is very well aware of this situation. Like I told you, there is an enactment, LI 2190, that was spearheaded by the Shippers Authority themselves. It's been in action. It's been invoked since 2012. Not once has the shipping lines gone to the Shippers Authority to negotiate. It's simple. They are saying that what Shippers Authority, the LI 2190 says is that before you surcharge or levy any fee on any import in Ghana, these charges have to be negotiated. They don't do it. They act with impunity. They have no regard for the laws of this country. Each and every other entity within the space, be it GPHA, the freight forwarders themselves, go to Shippers Authority to negotiate these charges. The Shippers Authority have never for once done that. All they do is that they just print out their charges. Tomorrow we are charging you 20,000 cedis per container, and that's it. Don't forget, BOG tells us, BOG has told us that nobody should levy their fees in dollars. So can somebody tell us why these shipping lines continually charge fees in dollars? Today is a holiday, they are not working. But yet tomorrow, when our members or traders go to the shipping lines to pay their bills, they will be surcharged for no work done. Demurrages. They don't come to work on Fridays, Saturdays. Nobody goes to work on public holidays. Customs continue to work 24/7. We have said again, customs has not increased any charge in terms of duties. Duties have not gone up. The tariffs continue to remain the same, but because of the actions of the shipping lines, duties continue to go up. Enough is enough.
So you're going to stage a protest tomorrow. I mean, what format would the protest be?
So tomorrow, God willing, thankfully, the police will be there. We have gone to the police. They are providing us with 150 men. We meet at the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders in Tema. We'll march through the principal streets of Tema. We'll go to all the shipping lines, and then we'll present our demands to these directors of the shipping lines. We've told them that they should scrap administrative charges. They should fees such as public days and weekends that they don't work. They should scrap those charges. Anybody, you import a container, you go to your warehouse, you empty the container, you bring the container in safe condition to the shipping company. Yet they continue to charge you for empty container fee. In fact, they go ahead to charge importers and businesses cleaning fee. Assuming that you bring a container full of televisions, you go to your warehouse, you unstop the televisions, you return the container in same condition to the line, they are charging you for cleaning that container. We should also not forget, even with spare parts that you say, probably with spare parts that will even probably drip oil. These charges are levied at the port of loading, which means that any shipping line knows that you are charged, they know the cargo you are carrying. So in terms of their voyage estimates, they include these charges, thinking that, of course, definitely your container will drip oil, so they add the cleaning fee to it. Yet, once they come to town, they charge cleaning fee again. We should not forget about the exchange rate. It is only the shipping lines, only the shipping lines that have done their own exchange rates. Look, we continue to say that government is unable to manage the exchange rate, but governments have forgotten and are not looking at the exchange rate. The leakages within the exchange rate system, it is the shipping lines. Because the point is that they are collecting tons of money. The last research that was done, for every year, the number of containers that come to town, the money that the shipping line make just on administrative charges is over 1.5 billion. So imagine dollars. So imagine them having cedis and going to the market to look for dollars. So we are saying that the exchange rate leakage, the fluctuations, is the shipping lines. So these are our demands, and we are saying that on Tuesday, we are all our members, the traders, manufacturers, importers, consumers, everybody should show up so that we can bring this protest, make our demands known. Of course, we'll be meeting the Minister of Finance in a couple of days. That is coming. We'll meet the Minister of Trade. We'll meet the Minister of Transport and present these petitions to them. Of course, we would also speak to the new CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority as well.
What would it take for you to rescind your decision between now and tomorrow? Very
simple. They should just take off these charges. As simple as that. They know these charges, they are just, how do I put it? They are monies that they are just taking for free. And we probably might go further to ask them to refund those monies, because the point is that, look, today you have university students who get out of university. 2 or 3 of them get their money together, they go and bring something to, to trade. And these lines consistently charge them charges and fees that they are not supposed to pay. Take DHL, for example. You get DHL to bring you bring you a television to Tema or to your house. DHL directtly drops the item or the commodity in your home. DHL doesn't charge you anything because you have already paid for that service. With the shipping lines, even though your item gets here, they still levy you, and these levies are done in dollars. That is arbitrary, it is illegal, and we are saying this will not continue any longer.
All right.
So for us, they should just take these charges off, and we are fine.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. Johnny Mante, he's Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. I will keep following that story for you. And happy holiday.
Thank you.
All right. Well, the staff of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, EDCO, in the Upper East region have expressed strong opposition to a proposed draft bill that aims to merge NEDCO with the Electricity Company of Ghana and separate thermal power generation from their mother company, the Volta River Authority. In a protest march within their office premises in Bolgatanga, they said they are solidly behind their mother company, VRA, in kicking against the merger, which they believe would have severe consequences on the nation. Some of them have been speaking to journeys.
Yes, we are all aware of what is happening in Parliament in relation to energy sector. Yeah, there is a measure laid before Parliament, and in consultation with our stakeholders, we think that it is not going to help the crisis in the energy sector. We are opposing it because we think that it is an attempt to sell state assets under privatization. Now, as we talk now, ECG is seriously struggling. Instead of dealing with it, you are thinking of merging? No. Now, imagine merging ECG with NEDCO. How is that going to reduce the distribution cost? How? So we, staff of NEDCO, Upper East area, our eyes are red, and we're not even in heaven. God's eyes are red.
Nasiya say, aban person oka VRA, ECG, NEDCO nyabo miye company bako. Nasiya ya enim no ECG, aban di omka bebre. ECG one problem a. Na nu tese be ka VRA ni NEDCO, akoka ECG ho. Eti ere yes ma ka nyina ne se, eye tema division e wo under VRA no. Aban person oti ne ho eti free VRA ho. Na ekofo mo no kase ni company no mu na kwan eton thermal part of the company. And yesu workers no yampire. Yampire ana mu na free ana. Mu na free ana.
And the protests are not just in the Upper East region, across the country, we've got staff of VRA Netco protesting this proposed merger. I'm joined on Zoom by Dr. Isim Mana, who is an energy strategist, also a chief executive of Eureka Solutions. Good afternoon to you. What do you make of the stance of these workers? Do they have a case when they say it is not the right move to merge Netco and VRA?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Darren, and good afternoon to you and your cherished listeners and viewers in Ghana and across the globe. Yes, indeed, I think the move is fast becoming unpopular. Mergers and acquisitions, they are not a bad idea. They are not bad idea at all. Sometimes we do that to increase efficiencies within companies. But if you look at the companies concerned in this case, you have BUI one part, VRA the other part. I think BUI and VRA, they are one of the companies, one of the SOEs within the energy sector who are independent or who are independently doing well. So if companies are doing well independently, it begs the question to ask, why one would ask why you need to combine them together, now. And like I mentioned, combination is not a bad idea. It could be a strategic reason. But I think in this case, if you notice what is going on, there hasn't been much consultation. Other than that, the workers coming seriously against it, and even most of the stakeholders within the energy sector coming seriously against it is something to be worried about. So I want to urge that they should tread cautiously with respect to this. And I think the whole idea is not about, if you notice most of the cries, it's for one thing. You are merging companies, and then you are segregating some potential cash cow within the company to stand alone, and it's not going to be manned by the same company. What I'm trying to say is that the main problem about this whole thing is the segregation of the thermal plant, nothing else. That market. If they should say today that they are not going to segregate the thermal plants from VRA, I think nobody will make noise about this. And the reason being that you ask whether the workers they have a point. I think they have. If you look at VRA, the thermal plants have been their cash cow. So this director goes to export. They get direct money from this. Now, if we segregate it and then push it out from them, I think it's going to impact their efficiency. And the way VRA has been run over the years, I think they're not doing bad. Even their thermal plant with their simple, single stage, performance, single stage thermal performance, I think they are doing creditably well. So what I would urge is that if the government still want to go ahead with it, I think broader consultation is required, to make sure that they are able to cogently, put the proposal across to convince people that it's not going to take, people jobs, it's not going to impact the individual companies negatively. Until now, it is not done, and that is why we have huge backlash with respect to this measure.
Well, ECG itself is facing severe financial crisis. Last week, there was a report about fears of bankruptcy. We've seen a statement from the PRC today debunking those reports, but it doesn't take away the fact that ECG is in a dire financial crisis. It surprises us because, last year, the ECG started a campaign to boost revenue, and it looks like that hasn't amounted to much. Are you surprised as well?
Yeah, anyway, partially surprised because, for instance, I had taken note of the course ECG embarked on, especially the idea that they were going cashless, and I think they were not doing that. The reason why it faltered somewhere along the line is the usual things. SOEs being impacted with their independent operations. Other than that, if ECG and other SOEs are to be left to independently operate in a way that they operate as a business entity, ECG will make a lot of profit. But it's not done that way, and that's why we have these problems. So what are the key issues with ECG? It's the inefficiencies, the losses that we have in the system, the losses that we have in the system, the distribution losses, the technical losses. They are still a problem to deal with. And if we can't deal with these problems and we are going ahead to merge, I think it's going to compound the problem and make it multiple. So yes, I'll urge that. ECG. Their revenue problems has to be handled well. The revenue handle and their distribution network, the infrastructure, especially the metering system, we still have a lot of loopholes within the metering system. If they handle that well and become robust and improve their financial, their cash flow. If they go cashless, I think that should be the way to go. But these things are not done, and that's how come some of the stakeholders within the energy sector are even calling that. Why don't you solve the problems individually? Make sure the ECG is efficient before you can merge it with network. Make sure that all these other companies, the liabilities that they have, they clear that before you can merge. Other than that, imagine this, I think, to just compound the issues.
Right, and well, there are people who have proposed that ECG be privatized. I think this may, resurrect those calls as well. Where do we go from here?
Yes, so yes, I've also supported that, but I'll say I'll edge that with partnership of itself. And the reason why I encourage that ECG need basically two things, to go out from this problem. Number one, they need robust and resilient distribution network. The current network is not bad, but it still requires a lot of work to be done. Number two, they will need to minimize interference within the day-to-day activities and to mobilize and to be able to mobilize cash flow. ECG shouldn't be doing that. And I think if we have a private sector that will partner with ECG, especially the revenue handling, if we should give it to a private company and give the private company some key deliverables. What I mean by key deliverables, some KPIs. The government will give the private sector players KPIs that at least so amount within this time frame. If you don't do that, I take it from you. And I can tell you that the private sector is going to make ECG a efficient place to be. So I would urge that, especially the commercial component of it, the revenue component of it, if they can partner with an efficient private body, I think that would be the way to go. It will increase efficiency and it will also increase the cash flow.
All right. Dr. Isim Mana, Energy Strategist, Chief Executive, Eureka Solutions. I appreciate your time. Happy holiday. Now, turning to one of our top stories, calls for support for farmers affected by the recent drought in the northern belt of the country continue to heighten as players in the agric value chain bemoan the loss to smallholder farmers. Some farmers have hinted that securing funding for the upcoming crop season will be a daunting task due to the loss of capital caused by reduced yields resulting from the drought. Now, speaking to Joy Business at the EU session on agribusiness at the Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition, Seydou Mubarak, Deputy Managing Director of Antica Company Limited, an agro input and finance support company based in Wa, called for support to ensure the necessary funding for the next farming season as yields are projected to drop by over 60%.
Upper West now is one of the biggest suppliers of maize in the country, and some of the farms were affected, and we are going to really have a problem in terms of the supply chain. But then the bigger problem even have to do with the 2025-2026 season. Farmers that have lost our crops, investors that have lost our monies, how are we going to go back into the farm? How are we going to go back and do the supplies to the farmers in 2025-2026 season? Because this is the capital we are talking of that is at risk. So if we are not able to recover fully or even partially, we are going to be in trouble. But then the levels of maize production that we saw in 2023-2024, certainly we will not be getting the same levels in this year, 2024-2025 season. In 2 months' time, we are expected to harvest, and looking at the things, certainly we will not be having the same levels as we had last year. So we have been having this call on irrigation, and I mentioned earlier on that the Black Volta is our biggest natural resource that we have in terms of water and the land valley there. We're calling on government to step in immediately to assist us to develop the Black Volta where we can use for irrigation. If we are able to do that now, we can even do some productions that can augment the shortfalls that we are talking of.
Now, our final story this afternoon, the Akentina Piamenka University of Skills, Training and Entrepreneurial Development, AMUSTED, is harnessing the skill sets of students from the various faculties in solving societal challenges through entrepreneurship. The AMUSTED Entrepreneurship Club will incubate business ideas of students for successful implementation. Pro-Vice Chancellor Professor Isaac Boatin says aside from building successful business ventures, active partnership in business building will be fostered. Nalaya Ojima was at the launch of the club and has filed this report.
Amusted has the mandate to provide higher education in technical, vocational and entrepreneurial training, developing skilled labor for job creation and economic development. If successful in the execution of the mandate, it is expected to deal with the graduate unemployment as students graduate with technical and entrepreneurial skills. Pro-Vice Chancellor Professor Isaac Boateng explains the institution is not only focusing on training employable graduates, but teachers in technical education.
Our education is not embellished with the creativity and innovation that we need to create more jobs for ourselves. We need to break the frontiers. We need to bring light. We cannot continue to do the same thing that our predecessors, our alma maters have been doing, and we are here. We cannot do the same thing and expect a different results. So we need to change.
The Amusted Entrepreneurship Club is establishing a platform for collaboration among students in different faculties to turn ideas into reality. Through the university's Center for Business Incubation, ideas will be nurtured to achieve desired results. Head of Center of Entrepreneurial Development Education, Dr. Lydia Techi, explains the club will inculcate the spirit of partnership in entrepreneurs.
So he really wants to help partnership, collaboration between faculties and departments, so that when an idea comes, it's not solely a business person want to venture into an IT, the IT person will bring it, the business person will bring the business part, and then the construction person will bring about impact in the society. So you see that the idea will not just be an idea, but an idea that will make an impact.
Meanwhile, the university believes businesses formed under the project should be able to exist after students complete their studies. Richmel Baba Amanama is acting head of Business Incubation Center.
So the incubation is established to help new business gain grounds, train them in how to run their business, how to establish their business, give them place to start, so that when they are well established, they can go on their own.
All right, and that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Strict regulation is key to small-scale mining success. Ghana Chamber of Mines CEO saying that. Also, policy rate to go down between 1% and 1.5%, according to a report. myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.